I think this may be a contender for the worst thing I've ever had to subject you to. Oh my god. Oh, you're so scary. Oh my god. Oh no. Part of a content creator's job is to read the room. And by the room, of course, I mean the girth of the entire internet. What's trending, what people want to see, what will be clickable. In the words of the great Jonathan Frakes. Not this time. This one's for me. Some of you may know that DragonCon is coming up in just about a month. For one of the days, I have a group cosplay planned with my friends to do Lord of the Rings, King Aragorn, Coronation Arwen, Samwise, and of course, myself as Frodo Baggins. Something you may also know about me, I have a great affinity for little guys. I would very much like an almost life-size Gollum on my back, like a backpack. Fully posable, so I can crumple him into my suitcase like a true psychopath. Strap in, buckaroos, and take out your screwdrivers because we are about to loosen the hinges.
Now my plan for this, with the audacity of someone who's only watched a few doll videos in her life, he'll be made out of this plastic doll skeleton material, and then all of his different body parts are going to be made out of upholstery foam, all connecting at the joints so that he's fully posable, and then covering him in a skin and posing him to just hang out on my back. With that, let's head to the craft store and look at their upholstery foam options. Once again, ye old merchant Michael has disappointed me. The only foam options they had were bright blue or too thick, so I left feeling a little salty. Bit of a bust. Joann's definitely used to have a lot more options when it came to upholstery foam. We're gonna have to make do and order some online. I did grab this, 2 sheets like this. I like them because they're thin. Perhaps while we wait, start making maybe like his arms. Ugh, get off, Katy Perry. Spray adhesive. Like I said, I'm kind of waiting for things to come in the mail, but what I do have is probably way more doll skeleton than I need. This bendy, so we can make him posable. Ah, oh, we can pinch our phalanges. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I am pure garbage at proportions. Limbs are always too long, things are always too big. First of all, probably figure out how tall we want him. In the films, hobbits are about 3.6 feet, I believe. I do think Gollum is slightly smaller than your average hobbit due to, like, you know, shrinkage. That would be about 3.5 feet. Is 42 inches. Save your applause. My brain has many bumps. To my hip, I believe. I guess he is just a little guy. I'm gonna need some reference for this. So I drew up a little diagram. I don't know how, again, how proportionally accurate this is. Look at this graph. He's gonna be sort of set up like a toy, separate so we can make each body part at a time. Giant feet, giant hands, nightmare face. Let's build me a son. I got this handy dandy tool for this doll skeleton, otherwise it would have been absolutely impossible, but it basically just pulls it apart and puts them back together. After conjoining his skeleton, I realized my scale was completely off. I was going on the Tom Holland scale, not the Hobbit scale. So I fixed it, and it still was a little bit too tall. With his head, he would have come up to about here. That was too much, so I fixed it again. I realized I needed to do the real test.
Are you wearing the
Poseable Gollum?
Yeah, I am.
That'll do, pig. For the limbs, I'm thinking I can literally just take this foam, hit it with some spray adhesive, something like that. Roll it like a little burrito.
Come on, you son of a bitch. Stick! For whatever reason, the tacky glue was not working, so I ended up reinforcing it with hot glue and then shaving it down with scissors so that it didn't look so tube-like. I felt very Edward Scissorhands, and this foam was my kinky neighbor.
Good morning, everybody. We're about to get freaky. So I am still waiting on a delivery of more foam. In the meantime, I thought we could make his little tootsies. I have a big old block of upholstery foam left over from other projects. Think for the feet, such weird. Carve them out of solid blocks of foam. Let's do a somewhat concerning Google search. All right then, keep your feet pics. I think we've got enough to go on. Yeah, okay. I've got this left over from my Kiki project. Draw a top-down shape and then kind of whittle it down from there. Feet people, this one's for you, you little freaks.
You merely adopted the dog. I was born in it.
I started this process by using this hot wire. It just took way too long, so I did eventually switch to scissors.
Look at those grippers. Moving on. I have a lot of foam here, so what I think I'm gonna do is try to do the head because that's quite important. Cut out 2 big circles, glue them together. If only the old masters could see me now. He is my muse. I do think that this requires a little more firepower.
Generally, I don't love using the turkey carver, but it's good for cutting out large shapes at a time. I did as much with the turkey carver as I could, and then I switched to scissors to get it a little bit more refined until I was left with truly a winter hellscape of my own creation. Before I could move on to anything, I needed to do the eyes. So I took these plastic ornament baubles, cut them down so they were a little less bug-eyed and a little more realistic. Then to make it look actually like an eye, I took this EVA foam and I'm gonna squish it inside so it looks like a real eyeball. Smeagol's got them baby blues. So I got to work making this look like his irises, one base layer, and then going in with a darker layer. And then just for a little bit more realism, his eyes are not completely white, so I painted the outer rim a little darker and then a little bit more bloodshot. I then realized it was giving me that Neversoft animation that used to appear before the Tony Hawk games. Traumatized me just slightly as a child.
Behold, the stuff of nightmares. Listen, right now he's got the face only a mother could love. I'm gonna go over with some foam clay to sculpt out some of the details, make him look a little less scary. Not too much less scary. Don't worry, baby. We're gonna make you so handsome.
My first step was just to cover the entire head in foam clay. I have a love-hate relationship with this medium. If your hands are too wet, it's basically trying to sculpt with marshmallow fluff. Then it was time to make the ears, which I made them again out of foam and just covered them in foam clay yet again. You definitely can't get as much detail in this as if you were using polymer clay, but whereas I'm taking this to a convention, it needs to be hardy and not break.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Me? Choosing a project that may have been too much for me to masticate in 1 week? Oh, I think you've got me confused with someone else. More foam. That sort of looks like dinosaur eggs. I feel like a mother pterodactyl.
Let's play how long does it take for Rachel to open this one package of foam?
It's alive!
My plan with this is that each hand is going to be 2 sheets of foam with armature wire sandwiched in between so that each finger is fully posable. I started assembling his calves, but realized that if I'm gonna be bending this, there's gonna be a gap in between his thighs and calves, so I made a little kneecap out of foam and planned on trimming that down.
All right, now for the torso, the last kind of piece of the puzzle here. Trace out the shape and then maybe in the back kind of splice this shape so that this can just go right inside. Let's see if that works. We're getting there. Why did I do this to myself?
Let's carve this turkey. I'm not gonna lie, I think the torso suffered a bit from my hands just straight up being fatigued and blistered from using the scissors so much, so I really didn't get this as smooth as I wanted it to be. Also at this point, I was very tired, but nevertheless, we soldier on. I cut down the kneecap quite a lot, but I still think overall it looked kind of earthwormy. But I moved on. I wanted to make his little spinal cord sticking out of his body. I did chop that down quite a bit to try to make it a little bit more seamless. And then it was time to start assembling everything, which was equal parts joyous and full of regret.
Oh my god, this is so scary. No.
After giving him a hot glue manicure, it was time to face the horrors I have created.
I think this may be a contender for the worst thing I've ever had to subject you to. Oh my god. What is that? Oh, you're so scary. Oh my god. Oh no. My hands look like this, so he can look like this. Yep. Okay. It's terrifying. Oh Lord. Hello. I
I am at the home improvement store to go grab some silicone because I saw a video online that was kind of like a hack for this. Usually movie studios will do the 2-part silicone, but that's expensive. Builder online use just the silicone you can buy from the home improvement store that you use with like a caulking gun, and then mix it with silicone pigments, which I did purchase. Yeah, I'm not talking to my camera in the middle of a parking lot, just keep walking. You would think after 10 years of this I would get used to it, but I was just wrong-o. Normally when I go in here, I'm like, oh, I don't want to be perceived. Perceive me if you must. I'm wearing fucking sword pants. Initially, I was just gonna grab this silicone, but then I realized they had a gray one, which would save me a whole lot of time.
Welcome to my nightmare gallery. Oh my god. You ready to give him some skin? I am really hoping that a paint job is gonna help make this look a little bit more like him. I have extreme skill of making something just look slightly off. You can't put your finger on it. You don't know why it looks off. It just does. Is essentially Mr. Mime. Tell me it's not. I dare you. Take that silicone, scalpel it on. In general, my self-doubt lately has just been like running rampant, and I think this is a good exercise in just having fun and not letting it get like, you know, to my head and such. Anywho, you ready? Here goes nothing. Time-lapse time.
The process was pretty simple. You just kind of slapped it on there like you were icing the world's weirdest cake.
All right. So this is one whole silicone tube. That actually did quite a lot. It's almost the entire front. Yep.
While that was setting, I moved on to the paint job for the head. I started with that sort of similar gray base, but then realized he is a lot more fleshy, so I added some flesh tone color back in. At this point, he was looking a little Steve Buscemi-esque, so I just started adding in more details, just trying to bring some life into him. Gonna have to do for now. I moved back over to siliconing the body, and this time I added a little bit of flesh tone pigment in there because, again, he was looking a little too gray. It was looking like an alien autopsy, so I tried to warm him up a little bit.
Now I know what you are all probably thinking. Will he have cheeks? Listen, this is me we're talking about. Also, Kelly and Savannah specifically requested in the group chat that he has cheeks. I am nothing but a people pleaser.
Kelly also had another request.
I ain't got no panties on, ain't got no panties on, I ain't got no panties on the dance floor.
Well, you'll just have to wait for that one.
He's about to get a BBL.
Anyway, so it was time to give him some lovely hair, and you know I could not resist. Cutting off the tiniest sliver of that hair, putting glue on the end, and then poking it in with a needle, kind of like you would with a doll, I'm assuming, just to really get it in there and make sure it doesn't come out.
Bangs.
Back to the body yada yada, I used more of that silicone pigment to just make it really disgusting.
Loincloth. We've got some scrap suede from my stash.
I am literally just gonna hot glue his little underlayer, or panties, if you will. On top of that, just rip a little loincloth, make it tattered, weathered, dirty, hot glue that on top. Doesn't have to be fancy. It's a little saucy right now, but we're gonna fix that, don't worry. Look, I know I say this a lot. I hope this is someone's introduction to me. I think it sums me up pretty well, actually. Let's clothe this indecent man. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Cover those beautiful cheeks. Can't be giving that out for free. Oh my god. Damn.
That's a nice butt.
Yeah, it's all those squats.
Oh, tushy.
Little tushy. It was about time to start assembling all the details, like putting his head on and giving him a neck brace. Basically handling him like a drunk friend at a club. Once the front of the loincloth was all set, it was time to do his butt flap. Now, because he wasn't quite horrifyingly lifelike as I would like, I added some resin to the wet spots on his face and then had that set. And then I think we're just about ready for the reveal. Wow. Get along, little doggy, get along. Yeehaw! This is the look of someone with zero regrets. I'm so happy. He is complete. Oh. Yep. I fear I cannot tell you how excited I am to have this on my back at Dragon Con. I will carry the ring to Mordor. Because he's so big, to have people like just do a little double take. Maybe like a little face of like, ugh. That's the goal. I would ride or die for him. Is he perfect? Oh no. So textured. Ooh, yuck. But you know what? From far away, it's not that bad. And at the end of the day, this is just a gag for a convention. My boy. How am I gonna transport him, you may be wondering? Thing is, the first time I went to Dragon Con, when I made my Drogon, I quite literally put the body of my dragon inside a big hockey bag and just checked that as oversized luggage. I'm going to put him in a body bag and hope that some unlucky TSA agent has to open it up. I am genuinely curious if this might be my most unhinged build yet. If you have any other ideas, please let me know, but I think this might be number one. Some of you are here for cozy aesthetic. I'm allowed one unhinged every now and then. Allow an old woman her fancies. The silicone worked really well. He feels real, which is kind of alarming. He's a little sticky, so I am gonna bring some powder with me just to pat him down. Pretty durable. So yeah, if you're still here, thanks. Then I know you're a little weirdo, like me. Just for ease, I am actually going to make a playlist called The Creature Shop. Quite a few like little guys, and this kind of fits into that. Spiritually, he is a little guy. That's about all I gotta say about that. I love you so very much, whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday. We have fun here. Just you and I know that underneath this loincloth kicked up. I will see you in my next video. Bye! Oh my god. We got a Jumanji situation. Oh. Nature said, I heard you wanted overgrown and whimsical. Not like that.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Ain't got no panties on.